Hey everybody, Michelle with Triangle Social Media coming live into the Facebook group, Triangle Social Media Meetup. And so I am doing this workshop today. We're going to talk about holidays and business. And I have tried different pathways of how we do things. And so here's another one of them. I will be doing a screen share in a minute. I actually normally use StreamYard, but because I'm trying to focus on going live into this particular group, right? Exclusively to help build this particular group, I decided to come by Zoom. And then I'm going to switch after 30 minutes to the private Facebook group, the Social Media Coaching Club. And so my goal is to just share tips and values to anyone who's interested, build this group, build this community, and then provide additional content and support to members of the coaching club. If you're interested in joining, just reach out, Michelle at trianglesocialmedia.com, and I'd be happy to share some information with you about that. So I will do a screen share, and it's been a while since I've used Zoom. It feels like there's a few different things here. So let me go to the screen share, and we'll just hop in there. I just have a few things to review and some talking points. I'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, your feedback, your questions about anything related to the topics that we discuss. So here we are doing the screen share. Let me minimize this window. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so hopefully you are seeing my screen. So this is the group, Triangle Social Media Meetups, and you see all the admin stuff. That's fine. This picture, I love glass rock or rock glass or whatever term you want to call it. And so that's been my cover photo here for a long time. Anyway, I appreciate you all being members, or maybe you are, see over here, the member requests that might have just come in this morning because of the group, because of the workshop. And so I am going to approve these people so that they can, participate. And I'm just going to say hello. We'll come back and check in with, how we do. We sometimes wait to the last minute. That's all right. I'm happy to have you here. So hopefully you're tuning in. I'm going to refresh the page. And again, just say welcome. So I try to provide tips and I go live every week. I do, social media workshops every month. I do weekly interviews with business owners, and I'd love to interview you. That's Social Soundbites, Wednesdays at noon, business interviews. And then again, 12:30, Social Soundbites with Michelle sharing social media tips. It's like a tongue twister there. And so let me just review a few things. So here we are in the group, right? And hopefully you find some value here. Try to be somewhat consistent. We got to do the things. We got to help grow and have our funnels and market our business and all the busyness that comes with it. And in the midst of that, we want to try to build community. And there's competition for that. There's a lot of different places and groups, in person, live, virtual, Facebook, LinkedIn. They're all competing for your time and attention. So you got to parse out where you find value, right? And put a little bit of investment of time into communicating with those groups that are meaningful to you and help you in your business. Hopefully this is one of those things for you. And so anyway, here we are in the group. I want to just hover over here. This is the event. So if you've done any Facebook events, I want to do a workshop on that topic of just creating events. It can be confusing sometimes, the interface, well, not sometimes. Things change. And so we got to learn the different options that there are with creating groups, groups for events for groups, events on pages, and just the differences in where you create a group, an event from. Just there's so many little things that we can learn that will just, as we learn all these little skills, right? They really have layers of education and skill and confidence and just different features that help us in our marketing, right? So I just wanted to hop over to that. And let's see, I do have some events I wanted to let you know about. This is for women, and it's Garner League of Women, but it's for anyone who wants to come to Garner. And so coming up on December 9th, 11:30, delicious lunch at Alexander's Mediterranean in Garner. And we'll have a featured speaker. And it's just so nice to get together in person and have a nice lunch meal together and chat, talk, learn, network, and all those good things. So I wanted to invite the women who might be watching to please come. This event is on my page. The next event coming up is Joe Navarra and Michelle's end of year bash. And so this is a party. It's fun. It's free. There'll be prizes. Hope you'll come. It's in person. It's in Durham. And again, this event is on my business page. Those are just a few, but I wanted to show you on my business page here. And this row of options might be different depending on your template and how you have it set up. But if you go to events, so classes are just the workshops, but events is all the things, whether they be classes or, networking events or whatever. So I wanted to just show this to you. If you're interested, you could come here to my business page and excuse me, and you can see all these things chronologically. And let me just click the see more. And so as right now, here we are, and then the glow, and then Joe and Michelle's. And then I'm also speaking at Executive Office Suites. Excuse me. That's in January. So we have a little bit of time. And there's a few more that I'll be adding in here, but I just wanted to point this out to you for you to know that you're welcome and invited to participate in these things that I'm either hosting or co-hosting, but also for yourself, that as you create events, you could do it right from here. You know how Facebook gives you different places to do the same thing, but starting from a different point. So there's one of the places you can create an event. And why not, right? That's one of the things that I advocate, is that you collaborate with other people and do things together. So why not create, even if it's virtual or in person, a networking event or some kind of a, webinar or something. And you just do the things, and it helps to grow your brand. So of course, I'm just going to keep going down the other tabs I have and invite you to connect on Instagram. I've been having fun recently going live and doing some videos on Instagram separately. I'm trying to, one of the things that I advocate is to go natively when possible, post natively when possible, keeping in mind that if you cross promote, if you cross post, it saves you time. Time is valuable. So that being said, if you can, do it natively to a site, because it does get better reach, and the interface is completely unique to that platform. So just wanted to invite you to connect. Would love to follow you. And I don't think that's anything. Oh, that's the Zoom. So I had that tab open. But all right, so I'm going to close a few tabs, and I'm going to come on over to my talking points Google Doc. I love using Google Docs. It's very helpful to stay organized with clients. I have some interns working with me now, and it's just a great tool and resource to keep lists and things. And I use it for a lot of different things. So this is the talking points, and I want to just talk through it and invite you to please give feedback and post your comments, questions, suggestions, thoughts, ideas, whatever it is, in the thread of this video. Would love to hear what you have to say. And I'm going to try to open that, because it's hard to look at two things at once. I'm going to open it up on my phone at the same time so that I could keep an eye out. So holidays in business. And some people do awesome at this time of year. Everything skyrockets because whatever their platform, whatever their product or service is, does really well. And other people kind of plummet, suffer, notice a drop in sales, or whatever the issue is. And so whichever place you're coming from, I think this list of ideas is good for anyone, right? Not just to stay active and thriving, busy, but to keep growing, because we're always growing, we're always learning, we're always doing. And, no matter what time of year it is, we want to We want to always look for ways that we can improve, right? And sharpen our skills and help other people and connect with people. So sorry for the delay here, trying to find my, there we go. All righty. So I'm going to keep that open so that I could keep an eye on. Appreciate. Hey, Aaron, I see your like there. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through it. So, and really some of these, it's not, I'm not elaborating on the list. I'm just going to talk about it. So holiday cards. Do you send holiday cards? So I've been bad for years. I mean, some people are every year they send the cards, they have the pictures done. You know, with your family, you might do that. What about for your business? So you could send a family card to your clients, or maybe it's a business type of card. And it might be a generic kind of a holiday greetings, or it might be specific if you know, the particular faith of someone, or you're just sharing your faith. But some kind of a holiday card for this time of year. And then of course, what about birthdays, anniversaries? If you have all that information in your CRM about your clients, then you can recognize them and celebrate those special holidays that are in their life, right? So, keep in mind that these are things not only for the holidays, but all year. And these are things that are good to do, not just to boost your business during holidays, but really just to boost your business, right? At any time of year. So let's look at number 2, Google Calendar. Okay, so I have some shorthand here. Colors. I don't know about you. I'm visual. And I mean, we all learn in different ways, and we have dominant learning styles. And so I'm not only visual, but I am definitely visual. Things have to kind of look right to match my brain and for me to feel like it's organized. And so I use Google Calendar and I use color codes. And so the different types of things that I have, like, for example, networking events, I'll put them in, they'll all be, say, blue, right? Anything that has to do with, Facebook coaching sessions might be a different color. However you organize your things, your events, it keeps you organized. It helps you to save time that you can invest in doing other things that might be money producing activities, like making phone calls, for example, answering emails, or whatever the thing is. So all these little shortcuts that help to save time to make your business run in a easier way, it just makes it easier for you, right? Now I have a note here on some different CRMs, and I'm curious, what kind of CRM do you use? Why do you like it? Because there are people who are shopping for a CRM. And so if you could help them by suggesting the one that you like, that would be very helpful. And I listed a few here just that I know of, have heard of. And, some of them are great for scheduling, your appointments, and others for all the things, not just scheduling the appointments, but also maintaining, organizing, and, just collecting all that information about your clients so that you have it all readily available whenever you are in connection with them, and you can keep that top of your mind, right? So let's look at the next thing. Build and maintain your email list. So do you do an email? Do you have an email list? Do you use a person that helps you with that? Do you have a special, a favorite? There's different platforms for doing your newsletter, or whatever you like to call that. And so, yeah, that's definitely an important time saver. I mean, we could have given this list a different titles, and it would still apply, because these are things that we want to make sure that we're doing. But even once we have things in place, we need to check them, right? We need to reanalyze, kind of audit ourselves, and check all these different systems and processes, and make sure that they're still doing what we want them to do. Maybe, edit, add, maybe change. Sometimes we change platforms because we find that, whatever the other platform is has better features that they've developed or added that you don't have. And so we stick with what works the best. Sometimes it's easier to not change if you're afraid of change or it's too complicated, but I think it's worth it depending on whatever the thing is and how well it works for you, right? For your business. So there's just a list of some things. GQs, I like GQs and that's connected to Google, for the list. and how you could check it and it disappear. It's just, one of those little things that I like. But I'd love to hear your ideas for CRMs, calendars, and list making. What kind of tools do you like and why? That would be great to know, and to collect that information and add it to here to share with others. And so email list. So let's go to number 4. Do you do client phone calls? Do you do cold calling? I know with some of my business friends, I hear them talk a lot about needing to do phone calls, and other people, they don't do phone calls. Either they don't need to or they don't want to. And so there's different reasons for what, the different processes that we have. And I definitely do phone calls as people reach out to me, or I'm wanting to schedule one-on-ones. It's a little different than someone who is maybe they have a lead list they're working through. And so there's different reasons for doing the cold calls, or, trying to get those leads and then following up with them. But, besides that point, talking on the phone to potential clients, leads, customers, other business owners is a thing. And so we should, have a certain mindset of really focusing on that person. And one thing I like to do is open up their social media platforms and their website. So I have it all in front of me. And as I'm talking to them, I might come up with ideas or thoughts or give feedback. It just is applicable, right, for the phone conversation and where it might lead to. And also, it's just helpful to understand what they do and how they do it and where they do it and all those other questions that come into play. So that's just an idea as well. Just open up, if you have a CRM, you open up that, and that may, lead you to all these things that I'm talking about. But I like to open each one in a separate tab and do that. So let's look at number 5, client gifts. Do you give gifts to your clients? Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can scroll down. I will say that Wendy Harrington, she helps me with my blog, Beacon Creative Lab. She's wonderful. And when I first started, she sent me this little surprise gift that came in the mail. And it was just like some personal things that were fun. And, they matched what she was learning and knew of my brand. There were some pink things in there, I'll just say. And it made such an impact on me. And I thought, wow, I don't know I don't know how many people do this regularly, it's something that I would like to implement. I'm exploring that right now with my friend in my WIN group. More about that later. But yeah, just an idea that, it's just a gesture of kindness, and the gift doesn't have to be expensive, right? It could just be a little thing, but I think it just reminds your clients, your customers, and your business partners that you're thinking of them, right? I think everybody feels special and important when they know someone thought about them in that way. So what about number 6, send mail out and or virtual thank you cards? So do you send thank you cards? And who do you send them to, on what occasion? Sometimes people will send a thank you card. Let's just say you invited a speaker to join you, or you were a guest speaker in someone else's event, or you subbed for someone, or they subbed for you. I'm just thinking of different scenarios. And there's lots of different, we could find some kind of reason, right, to tell someone thank you. It might just be something you noticed that they did and you wanted to acknowledge them. I think a handwritten card is just special. Besides the regular cards that we talked about earlier, the holiday cards, a thank you card, just thanking someone for a specific thing that you noticed about them. I think it just really endears people to you, and you're building relationships is what, there's so many good side effects to that. So let's see, what do we have here? What about text greetings? So some people have text services where, they may automatically, their clients might get an automatic text asking them to give a review right after they have visited you or done business with you. What other kind of automated text service do you use? How is it helpful to you? And besides that, how about just a organic text where you just text somebody to send whatever other message that you would either send in a card, like we just talked about. It's just another pathway of communication. And for some people, texting is easier or better, or they prefer it over Facebook message. And one thing I like to do is ask my clients, what is the best way for me to reach you? For if I have a quick question, what do you prefer? And it could be email, text message, maybe WhatsApp, maybe Facebook message, Messenger, whatever. They may have a preference. And if they do, I'd like to know that, right? I've learned the hard way where, I never check that. Please text me, And so I want to make sure that I'm doing what's easy for them and, so that I can make sure that they got my message, whatever it is. So, but, in that topic of texting, how about just a text greeting? Maybe it's the happy birthday message. Maybe it's the, the happy holiday or happy anniversary or thank you, all of those messages in text, right? Just a thought. And we have a few more minutes. Let's look at create graphics with Canva. And so the reason why that's on this list is you can create some amazing cards and flyers and fun things that then you can, obviously for your content, right? But also for your greetings to your clients, customers, or business collaborations. I like using Canva. So if you haven't already, I encourage you to explore it and just look at all the fun things that you could do there, not just for your content and your social media, but for personal and for business related relationship building by creating cards and flyers, personalized things, posters, and all these other plenty of ideas, right? So check it out. And then I have a link here using free photos. There's so many websites where you could get free photos that are copyright free. This is just one of many, unsplash.com. And I have a link there where it's /s/photos/Christmas. If you're looking for, Christmassy type photos to add to maybe a card. But then Canva has its own set of free photos as well. So just moving on, number 10, holiday posts on social media. And so you might, if we're thinking about doing content to keep our business strong, well, holidays, there's a lot of obscure holidays, there's major holidays, there's federal holidays, patriotic. And so one thought is to, in the midst of the other content that you're sharing, that might be direct sales, indirect sales, or all the different kinds of content that you create, doing holiday posts on social media is just an extra thing. It's an extra sentiment that you're just sharing with your audience. We wish you all, and then whatever the thing is, and finding a nice photo or maybe making it animated. I think it's just a little bit of extra. So let's all be extra whenever we can. And especially like to do, like whenever there's like Veterans Day, for example, and not only always on my business page, but on my personal profile. And depending on how you use your personal profile, I think that, that's a whole conversation, but I definitely use my personal profile somewhat for marketing. There's everything that I'm tagged in will be seen there. I don't do a lot of direct posting that are business related, but you'll see everything that I do, because whenever I attend, say, for example, a networking event, I'm going to tag myself. So it'll be seen on my personal profile, even though if I share it on my business page. But I think it's important to recognize veterans. And so like on Veterans Day or any really patriotic holiday, particularly Veterans Day, though, I have a list of all the veterans that I know that I'm connected with, and I tag them all so that I can publicly thank them for their service. And so, yeah, that's something that's special to me, because I am a veteran, even though it was a while ago and I didn't retire, but I'm really glad that I had that opportunity to do that. I was in the Navy. I was a hospital corpsman. And so I love to, just recognize other veterans. So those are 10 things. I know that I have more things on the list. I'm going to be shifting over to the private Facebook group, Social Media Coaching Club. And I also have a list of ideas to share there that have to do with client appreciation and just some more ideas of how you can directly show your clients how much you appreciate them. And I learned a lot of great ideas through my WIN group, Women in Networking. I'm in Holly Springs group, and we do like a mastermind every 5 weeks, and it's just a great time of really masterminding, and focusing on a person's business and ideas, and how we can all come up with thoughts to help them. And so that was my question that I wanted help with, and I got some great ideas, and I compiled this wonderful list. So anyway, I'm going to talk through that. I'd be happy to chat with you if you have any questions, or feedback or ideas. Would love to hear that. If you'd love to be interviewed on Social Soundbites, please reach out. Anything, all the above. Reach out, Michelle@trianglesocialmedia.com. And something else real quick before I go is I have this Google Doc. Like I mentioned, I like to use Google Docs. And so I have this particularly one I'm going to share in the thread of the video. It's just a Google Doc with the events that I am involved with, whether they be online or in person. I know that I showed you the events on the Facebook page, but sometimes there's not a Facebook event for a thing. I might schedule it through StreamYard, which announces it, but it's not a Facebook event, right? So anyway, I just have this list here I wanted to share, and I will put it in the thread of the video. And some of them are to be announced, but I invite you to, definitely participate in anything you're interested in. And so that is pretty much it for that. I look forward to seeing you at some of these events. Let me stop the share. And I appreciate you letting me come in and just share my thoughts. Would love to hear back from you. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm going to switch over to the Social Media Coaching Club now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.